We all know that the Baki characters are absolutely shredded, and let's be honest, which one of them couldn't be a bodybuilder? Well, in today's video and in this new series that we're starting today, we're gonna ask the question, could Baki himself be a bodybuilder, along with many other characters from the series? And today specifically, we're looking at Baki and Hanayama. And if you're new to this is gonna be a ranking tier list kind of thing. You've seen it on YouTube before, and we're gonna be doing ours a little bit different. Instead of going from S to D or E or whatever people go to, we're gonna be starting with Mr. Olympia. Those are the biggest, most massive, most muscular, most ripped guys that you could absolutely find. These are the guys that you see on the bodybuilding stages that are just absolutely killing it. And then we're gonna go down to the pro bodybuilder division. These guys are also on that stage with the Olympias, just not quite to that same level. And then we're gonna look at the amateur bodybuilders as well. And then the athletic division after that, that's gonna be like something like most guys would probably wanna look like you have a very athletic type of physique, but you're not necessarily like super bulky or anything like that. And then under that, we have the fit. Like you could tell this person works out, but maybe they wouldn't do, very good in a bodybuilding competition or anything like that. And then we have the category, like, yo, does this person even work out? And in this universe, that's gonna be hard to find, but I'm sure we'll be able to come up with maybe at least one or two. I have a feeling we're gonna have more pro bodybuilders in Mr. Olympias than we have fit and in this one. Unlike our One Punch Man universe, which actually had a lot of really good bodybuilders too. And if you haven't seen that one, make sure to check that out. So before we get started, let's actually review what it takes to be a great bodybuilder. And for this little recap, I have one of the greatest of all time. We have the man Arnold Schwarzenegger. So right here, we're taking a look at 4 different things that actually make a good bodybuilder. First of all, we have symmetry. So if we draw a line down the middle, does he look the same on both sides? If we draw a line down the middle this way, does his upper body match his lower body? We're looking at those sorts of things. And then we're gonna be looking at the X-shaped physique overall. Now keep in mind, Arnold is from the 70s primarily, 60s a little bit in bodybuilding as well. The modern day guys are gonna have way bigger legs. They're gonna be way more ripped. They're gonna be on a lot of other stuff that Arnold didn't have, even though he did have some gear as well. But most people consider the 70s and 80s kind of the golden era of bodybuilding, which is why I wanted to go over his physique specifically. And also, have you guys seen the Arnold documentary on Netflix yet? Because if not, you should totally go watch it. It's actually really great, and there's a lot of footage from old Mr. Olympia and Mr. Universe competitions that I've never seen before, and I've seen a lot of this footage, and it's really good content, and also it's really inspirational, believe it or not. Okay, so we have that when we have symmetry. Then we have proportions. So this is like muscle to muscle. So like, how do the biceps look compared to the triceps? How does the chest look compared to the lats? We're looking at things like the shoulders, the legs. Also overall, this kind of goes in symmetry as well, is the V taper. Do they have a really nice V taper? That's something that's kind of coming back in style. We lost it a little bit with the Mass Monster era, but it's kind of coming back, and so that gives it more of an aesthetic kind of flow to the physique. So we have symmetry, proportions, then we have muscle mass, like how big are they? You can't just have someone that has really good symmetry, because any skinny person could have really good symmetry, but can they also pack on a lot of muscle for their frame? How big is their muscle mass for their frame? So like Arnold here, totally probably maxed out his frame in terms of like his arms, his chest, things like that. Probably could have got a little bit bigger legs, depends on the year that we're looking at, depends on a lot of different factors, but typically bodybuilders didn't really have massive legs back in the day. Not like, at least definitely not like they do now. And then last up, we're looking at conditioning. Like how well can you see the vascularity in their arms, the feathering in the chest, the feathering in all the muscles? If they turn around from the back shot, do we see that Christmas tree shaped physique in their lower back? So those are the things we're gonna be looking for in these characters. And like I said, up first, we're gonna be going with Baki, and then we're actually gonna do Hanayama today as well. So starting with Baki, this guy is, we all know Baki has an incredible physique. If you're a dude and you like working out and stuff, you're probably gonna want to look similar to this guy. He's absolutely massive. And but he's also not too big. He's very aesthetic. So there's a lot of heights and weights here, and I've been told that they're not super accurate per se. Because like the most recent one is 5'6", 168. I don't know how accurate that is. I think he's a little bit bigger than that now. I could be wrong, but most of these videos that I'm gonna be doing, I'm not really gonna be taking that into account. I'm gonna be looking more at their proportions overall. So like this guy, if he's 5'6", he's got a lot of muscle mass right there. And so like, let's say he's like 5'8", actually, I would say he's probably more like 200 pounds or maybe 190 or something like that. If he's actually 5'6", 168 could make sense. Maybe a little bit bigger, just depends on the shots that we see him into. And also, obviously, there's a lot of different shots of these characters. You could look at the manga, you could look at the anime, you could look at the old version, the new version, all this different stuff. I'm just going to be like generally taking a general aspect, a general overall look at each one of these characters. So Baki overall has a phenomenal physique. We've already determined that. Doesn't matter the shot that you look at. He's got really good symmetry, really good proportions. He's got really good muscle mass too overall, and he's got really nice full muscle bellies, which is really important in bodybuilding. Like his chest really pops out right there, his delts really pop out, his biceps, his tries are a little lacking. And that's one thing I've noticed about Baki characters is usually they have like crazy forearms and crazy calves, but obviously that's probably because they're fighters, not necessarily bodybuilders. Like take a look at that calf right there. That's literally the size of his quads right there. That's pretty unrealistic, but it's pretty cool, and I love that pose right there. That's like a Jean-Claude Van Damme pose. So yeah, overall, he looks really good. He could definitely be a bodybuilder. I would probably put him in the men's physique division. You could probably make an argument for classic physique division as well. Keep in mind, there are 3 primary divisions with bodybuilding. You have men's physique, classic physique, and then open bodybuilding. The open bodybuilders are like the massive guys. The classic physique are modeled after the golden era of the 70s and 80s. And then the men's physique are usually kind of like they wear board shorts, so legs don't matter quite as much, but they're still absolutely massive. So with Baki, I would probably place him in the men's physique division. And like I said, in some of these shots, I mean, look at those legs. Holy shit. Look at those legs, man. He could definitely be a classic physique competitor as well. I definitely wouldn't put him in the open division. That division is going to be reserved for some of our other characters that we're going to see, in one of the future videos. So stick around for those. So Baki, definitely not fit, definitely not athletic, although he is athletic. Amateur bodybuilder, no. I would definitely place him in the pro bodybuilding division for now. I do think he's lacking in some areas to the point to where I don't know if he would be a Mr. Olympia contender. Keep in mind, a lot of these are subject to change as well. So like if I put Baki in the pro bodybuilder division, I might, once I get through a lot of these characters, I might end up moving him down or moving him up even. So these are all going to be subject to change until the final episode in this series. But for now, because I do think he's lacking a little bit in some of the vascularity, and of course he's not stage ready, he's fight ready, which makes a big difference. But he's definitely got the muscle mass, he's definitely got the symmetry and proportions, other than the arms and the calves and all that stuff going on. So right now I'm going to place him in the pro bodybuilder division and leave him there for now. So let's go to Hanayama. So speaking of Hanayama, speaking of open bodybuilding, this guy would be absolutely massive and would do really, really well in open bodybuilding. And let's say these stats are right. Let's say he's 6'3", 366 pounds. That would make him absolutely massive, one of the biggest bodybuilders to ever step on stage. Now, you'll get some guys that are slightly over 300 pounds. Definitely in the off season, you'll get some guys like you had Ronnie Coleman and people like that. But usually they slim up to about 300 pounds or 290, 280 for the stage. But to actually get guys that are actually 300 pounds on stage is pretty rare. So if he stepped in at 6'3", 366 pounds, that would be absolutely massive, especially at that height too, because there's not a lot of guys who are over 6 foot that are really, really good at bodybuilding. Although Arnold was, Lou Ferrigno, Chris Bumstead, people like that. So Hanayama is absolutely ripped. One of the things I love is you can see a lot of bodybuilders have this. It's called the death face. It's like when they're so lean and ripped that just everything just goes, it just gets really sucked in like that. So that's how you know the bodybuilders are competition ready, is if you can see their death face, if you're not able to see their physique. I wanted to start with a back shot here. Look at the back. I love how the mangaka do just such a great job at really modeling bodybuilders, because I mean they get the muscles down really, really well. I mean, you can see the rear delts, the lateral delts, the traps right there, the triceps, the biceps, the lats, and the traps are just absolutely massive, almost going all the way down the back. And then he's got really wide lats. So obviously he's got really good muscular separation too. So he's lean, he's ripped. So yeah, so Hanayama, the only thing I don't like is the shape of his physique. So he's not really got much of a V taper. It goes straight down pretty much. You get a little bit of a V taper with that small lat pop out right there. And his chest is a little small compared to like his arms, especially like his forearms are just a bit bigger than his bis and tris. Now, overall, he's absolutely massive. So he would definitely be in the open category. You wouldn't see him competing against someone like Baki. But yeah, he's got a great physique overall. Let's see what else we can find here. Yeah, take a look at this, like the quads here, the calves. I mean, absolutely massive, absolutely ripped too. But yeah, just his waist looks like it could be a little bit more lean, a little bit more ripped. It could be tucked in just a little bit to be a bodybuilder. Don't get me wrong. This guy could absolutely out muscle and out bodybuild 99.9% of people. But in terms of like professional bodybuilding, yeah, his proportions are off just a bit. I mean, look how much bigger the calves are than he's almost as big as his waist, really, and then as his chest and stuff. And then he's not really got, like I said, not much of a V taper there. So I'm going to deduct a few points for proportions there, but overall, absolutely massive, really good. I think he could definitely be a pro bodybuilder in the open division. Actually, you know what? Because we have so many other ones coming up that have really good physiques, I'm going to start with him in the amateur bodybuilding division. Now, this is for their world. This isn't for ours, but there's a lot of correlation, obviously. But there's going to be some guys in here that would place at Mr. Olympia that maybe couldn't win in ours, but would definitely win in their world, or maybe they would absolutely dominate in our world, but you know, maybe they are at a pro bodybuilder division in this world because it's so competitive. So it's all kind of relative to the world, but based on our own world's perspectives and standards, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying. So that's our starting 2 right there. We've got a lot more to go. I think I have just over 30 characters. And if there's any characters that you want to see on this list that you don't see right here on this list right now, let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoy this type of content and you're enjoying the series so far, then make sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. And let me know your thoughts on these placings in the comments down below. I will catch you in the next video.